Would you like to increase your business? The Buda Area Chamber of Commerce can help you increase business by bringing you new customers through our programs and activities. When consumers know that a small business is a member of their local Chamber of Commerce, they are 63% more likely to purchase goods or services from that company in the future. Join the Buda Area Chamber of Commerce. Call for more information on how the Chamber can benefit and grow your business.
Good evening. My name is John Hatch, and I am the 2021-2022 Chairman of the Board of the Buda Area Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you to the 2021 Buda Area Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum, a forum we've been hosting for local and county races for nearly 10 years as a public service to our community. There's a saying that all politics is local. Well, that's certainly going to be the case tonight. Tonight we will have all the candidates from the at-large position, place 3 for Buda City Council. Representing single-member District A, City Councilman Paul Desgereaux is running unopposed for a second term and is representing the City of Buda at the Texas Municipal League in Houston and therefore is unable to attend tonight. Lucky him. Tonight's moderators are 2 of our own. First is former Chairman of the Board of Directors and Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Jay Heinrich. Applause, there we go. A veteran of these forums, he will explain the debate rules and time limits. Our other moderator tonight is our newly appointed board member, thrown right into the fire, local Keller Williams realtor, Krista Phillips. We would now like to take a moment to let each of them kind of introduce themselves before we get into tonight's forum.
Thank you, John. As John mentioned, I am Jay Heinrich. I am the former chairman of the board for the Buda Area Chamber of Commerce. Happy to be here tonight to serve in this capacity as always, and really looking forward to a wonderful evening here tonight of questions and answers and getting to learn a lot about our candidates. So thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Krista Phillips. I'm a little bit nervous, so just bear with me tonight. But I'm super excited to be a part of this and getting to know each and one of you candidates and hearing each of your answers and just looking forward to a good evening. Thank you.
Tonight's forum will be featuring the 3 candidates for the at-large position. Each candidate will explain their own backgrounds during their opening comments. The candidates are Emily Jones, Lavanya Horn-Williams, and Virginia Eureka. And ladies, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We're excited. Definitely considering, I know that the traffic is an issue as I came screaming in here at 5 minutes till. So thank you for being here. And now we will cut to to have our debate format and rules. I will say that tonight the order of appearance is literally your names drawn out of a hat, and then making sure that each one is represented in different orders, rotating through your questions. So Jay, if you want to take on.
Thank you, John. So it's very simple tonight. You're going to get 2 minutes for an opening statement. For each question that is asked, you'll each have 3 minutes to give your response. And then at the end, you'll have 2 minutes for a closing. So very simple there. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, but it's a very basic format tonight. Yeah, we should be good to go there. So at this moment, we will call on Ms. Emily Jones to give her opening statement. Ms. Jones, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you to the Buda Area Chamber of Commerce for hosting this and coordinating all of this this evening. I am Emily Jones. I've lived, like many of you have, here and in the area for most of my life, 7 years in Buda, and full-time all of my life in this part of Texas. I grew up in the construction industry. My father owned a plumbing business, and my mom worked for architects, so I basically grew up on sites and eating breakfast over a set of plans at my kitchen table. I have 4 kids that have been in. One's graduated from Buda schools and 3 that are still there. My brother also lives here and his 4 kids go to the Buda schools. I'm currently the vice chair on the Planning and Zoning Committee, and I've been in construction and development for 24 years now, so I've done a little bit of everything in that whole realm of the world. I'm currently an estimating director for a multi-state commercial and multifamily GC and I've been a vice president of development as well. So my focus has been a lot on estimating, bidding, budgeting, financing, scoping, large projects up to about $80 million, and running a team of estimators and bidders to put all that together. And then also working on putting developments on the ground. So I've been on the other side of the table as a developer in front of the cities, trying to get zoning done and permitting as well. So as I've watched the city of Buda grow exponentially, and I've heard a lot of the growing pains as well that people have mentioned and commented on, I started noticing that I could help, and I can help our city get through those growing pains and hopefully prevent some down the road as best we possibly can by having all the information and the experience on the other side of the table. So now I want to bring that experience and be on our side of the table and represent Buda and be able to make sure that we grow in a smart way. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. We'll now ask LaVanya Horn-Williams for her opening comment. And Ms. Horn-Williams, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, and Jay, Krista, and thank you, Buda Area Chamber. I appreciate you guys putting this on this year. My name's LaVanya Horn-Williams. I'm a resident here of Buda for 21 years. I live in Bradfield Village, beautiful Bradfield, next to Bradfield Park. And one of the things that's been super important to me about wanting to run for city council is that we've raised our family here. We have 5 children. 4 of them were graduates from Hayes High School, and they live locally. They live in South Austin, but we also have 2 grandchildren, and we're wanting to share with them all the wonderful things that we experienced when we raised our children here in Buda. So my experience, I've worked in procurement, finance, and construction for the last 20 years. I worked for TxDOT. I currently work for AISD, and a lot of what we do is working to improve life for children and for the residents in the areas that I've worked in. It's so important to us that we maintain this wonderful way of life that we have here in Buda, and my husband and my children and grandchildren and I are excited to be here, and we want to see a way that we can improve. And so my contribution, in addition to working on the EDC and the Historic Preservation Commission, is now to look to help out at city council level. So I'd be excited for you to vote for me, and thank you so much all for coming out tonight.
Lastly, we'll ask Virginia Jurica for her opening comment. Ms. Jurica, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Area Chamber of Commerce, for organizing this forum, and thank you all residents and neighbors for coming today to be here. I'm Chilean by birth, Texans by the grace of God. I've been a Buda resident since 2009. I got to Texas as fast as I could. I've been living all over the world, working, implementing projects for different humanitarian organizations. So I have a lot of experience of working with tight budgets, in tight deadlines, in a very complicated places. My background, I have a master's degree in organizational dynamics from University of Pennsylvania. From University of Pennsylvania. I have a project certificate from UT at Austin. I like to listen. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for one reason. I believe a lot in collaborations is very much required as a member of the city council. We have to deal with different entities among ourselves. We may have our difference, but we have to find collaborations for the best interest of our citizens. My attitude about local issues is not shaped by any political situations. I'm non-partisan, nor I don't believe in the corporations. That's why my campaign is entirely self-funded and apolitical, because I'm doing it for the love of Buda. I love this town, the history, and the community that I had found that I can call home. My platform is very simple. I want to keep my community updated and connected. I believe in financial prudence and local businesses, and I think my time is up. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. And I just want to make sure, for the record, because John and I have both pronounced your name differently. Would you mind, how do you pronounce your last name?
Jurica.
It is Jurica. Okay, very good.
Reminds with Eureka.
All right. Just wanted to make sure we got that right. Thank you very much. Thank you all for your opening statements. We'll now move on. This is a reminder that you'll have 3 minutes to respond to your opening questions. First, we're going to start with Ms. Horn-Williams. But you'll all get the same question and each a chance to answer this. So, you're running for an at-large seat in the City Council. What does that mean to you, and what are your plans to bring all parts of Buda together?
Jay, thank you very much for that question. I think this mic is off. A little bit closer. All right, there we go, Jay.
All right.
Kissing. Okay, so the biggest part about it being an at-large position is understanding that it's here to represent all of the city of Buda. So there's no one particular part of Buda that I would be representing. I'd be looking to represent Buda as a whole. One of the things that I'm hoping we can work together to do is to bring us closer with regards to East and West Buda, because technically there's still just one Buda. So my goal is to work towards finding an opportunity for the city to collaboratively work together, regardless of what side of town you live on, and to be able to bring the same quality of life throughout the entire city.
Thank you very much. Ms. Jones, same question. What does it mean to you to be running for an at-large seat on Buda City Council, and what are your plans to bring all parts of Buda together?
Thank you. I think it's really great that we've got the setup that we do now, where we have 3 people that are the single-member district, and then we have 3 at-large seats. I think it's really important to have people that represent specifically some of the people that live in a certain geographical area, and then we also have people that cover the whole portion of Buda. That way the citizens can all make sure they can elect somebody that they want representing them regardless of where they live, and then also somebody that lives in the same area that they do as well. I think one of the things that we're working on in planning and zoning and with the City Council is to make sure that the amenities and the enjoyable spaces that the City of Buda has are spread throughout all of our city. The downtown is kind of the hub, and so we definitely have some things here that pull tourists in, but the city and the people that live here are the ones that we want to make sure enjoy it the most. So spreading those amenities and the parklands and the benefits of Buda being the outdoor capital of Texas that we've been deemed to be is a very important item to make sure that representing everyone has a chance to enjoy being a Buda citizen.
Lastly, Ms. Jerica, again, at-large seat in Buda City Council, what does that mean to you, and what are your plans to bring everybody together?
Thank you for the question. I believe whether it's at large or district position, first, it's an honor to serve our community at the highest level. This is a completely honorable service, and we do it from the heart. I do it for the love of Buda, whether I'm representing the West, East Side, Central, it is for everyone interest of the community. That is what our local government does, to represent the best interest of our community. So service over self. I repeat that, it's a service over self. I leave my personal agendas and my beliefs by the door. I'm here, if I'm elected, to work for the citizens, East and West, Central, South, from our Buda. And what will I do to bring people together? Collaboration. Listen to the citizens. It's very important because we're here to serve the citizens. How we can achieve the roadblocks, how we can solve our problems with collaborations, with service, with time, in a timely manner, looking at our budget. So that's what I do, collaboration above all, and service before self. Thank you.
All right, for the next question, I'll start with you again, Ms. Jerica. In 2001, the citizens of Buda passed a measure creating the Buda Economic Development Corporation. The EDC has successfully recruited many businesses to Buda that have created sales tax revenues and jobs, including Deep Eddy Vodka, Cabela's, and Baylor Scott & White. What do you see as the future of the EDC and business growth in Buda?
I am one of my platforms supporting, number one, local businesses. I think in general, local businesses is a backbone of America economy. That's everywhere it's written, is in all the materials. I'm not inventing any of that. So local businesses, We shop locally, our money stays locally, so we grow locally. So the EDC is a great component to promote these businesses. They have the ability, they have the tools, they are very good members. Ms. Lavonia Williams is part of the members. I see another members here in this room. They have the tools, they have the ability to promote that, the growth in the businesses. But also there are other components. We have the Chamber of Commerce, we have the main businesses in Buda. So there, again, it's all about collaboration, good communication, good customer service to attract and retain businesses here. We have to be more business friendly, but we have to mean it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jerica. Ms. Horn-Williams, for you as well. What do you see as the future of the EDC and business growth in Buda?
I see that the EDC is going to be that center point that helps provide the city with opportunities to attract more businesses. We've got to work together to be able to create that atmosphere of being business friendly, supporting our small businesses, making sure that we're getting out in the community and that we are letting people know what services we have available. Some of the improvements that we're looking to make and that we've already started with is making sure that we're putting information out on our website so that businesses understand that we're here to help support them either with new growth, moving from being a food trailer to having a brick and mortar business, or being able to help them expand. And so some of the things that we've worked on more recently that you all are probably super familiar with is we partnered with the city to offer the Still Stimulus Beautiful plan and to offer a lot of money to help businesses stay in business during COVID. So the EDC still has to be that help, that secondary piece to help the city make sure that our businesses thrive and that we can attract new businesses by creating projects that help us expand wastewater and make sure that we have the utilities we need in areas like Robert S. Light that can attract more businesses to Buda.
Thank you, Ms. Horn-Williams. And for you, Ms. Jones, what do you see as the future of the EDC and business growth in Buda?
Well, Buda is growing very fast. We do have a finite amount of land here. We are surrounded on all sides by cities. We have nowhere else to grow to. So the pieces of land that we have left are very valuable to us. And we're a hot commodity. We are in the fastest growing county in the whole entire United States. And we are right outside of Austin, which is one of the best places to live, voted over and over and over again. People want to be here. We want to make sure we get the right people here, the right businesses for Buda, and the EDC is a crucial part of that. They put together some really wonderful information on the highest and best use of all the different pieces of land that we have. And we need to make sure that we aren't working in silos, that we're really working across borders with the EDC and the City Council and other boards and commissions that provide us information on the right companies to come here. One of the things is the traffic that we have such a problem with as well. And if we can make sure that Buda has all of the places that we need to shop and go to and live our daily lives here within the city, we don't have to be running out of town and coming back into town as much. So that's one of the things that I think would be really great to focus on, is having little places around the city that everyone can go to that's 5 minutes away instead of having to come all the way through the middle of downtown and get to the other side to get to the grocery store. So I think that working with them is crucial in the growth for Buda. They have a lot of relevant information. There's also companies that want to come here that are very large and have executives or surgeons that may want to live here. And the EDC has mentioned before that there's not really a place for some of those people to live. So there's a lot of different levels of housing that we need as well. And the EDC's input on which types we need is also very crucial, from one end all the way to the other, and how much of it also.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
All right, let's bounce back to Ms. Horn-Williams. Do you see Buda as being business friendly? Why or why not? And what would you like to see done by the city of Buda to help support local businesses?
So I have heard from businesses, as being on the board for the EDC, that Buda may not necessarily be as business friendly as other communities that we are situated between. However, as Emily stated before, we are very limited and landlocked on what we have available, and so we can be a little choosier than other places can be. And so the big part for us is to think about how do we help shape creating a situation that we can help support small businesses when they want to come in by working together with the city to come up with a plan to help facilitate having a more easy process for permitting, or having an easier process for them getting through that permitting process. We want to make sure that we're offering the correct information ahead of time, and we're being proactive about providing support to businesses when they want to come here, and then just to make sure that we are supporting them through that process and make sure that they're getting everything that they need.
Same question, Ms. Jurica. Do you find business to be Do you find Buda to be a business-friendly community? Why or why not? And what would you like to see done by the city of Buda to help out local businesses in that regard?
First, I do want to believe that we are friendly, a business-friendly environment. If we are not holding up, if we're not holding up to that expectation, then we have to identify why. What is happening? Why we are not being? What is holding us back from being business friendly? What do we need to do? Who do we need to invite to the table to discuss that? To identify what makes us not being business friendly, or what is the perception of the people out there for not being business friendly? We need collaboration. We need not to work so much sometimes in silo. We have different committees and organizations that can help us. Because I as a city council or the EDC, nobody has the entire answers for some problems. We need to find communication, collaboration. EDC has a good leadership. With Tracy, with Jennifer, working in there. Now, to attract more people, local businesses, perhaps we need to look at our ordinance, our codes, how we can minimize, simplify our ordinance. The food trucks, they make it a little bit difficult for them to start a business. They do duplication in their healthy protocols, first with the county, they're here with the Buda. So how we can simplify people to support them. A local economy, local businesses support our local economy. Let's help them out. We don't have to be unfriendly. On the contrary, we are a great town. Breathe easy here. Thank you. Breathe easy here for everybody.
And lastly, Ms. Jones, same question to you. Do you find Buda to be business friendly, and why or why not? And what would you like to see done to make it a little bit easier for local businesses to get things rolling?
Sure, thank you. I think once the businesses are here, we are very friendly. It's amazing how well we support our local and small businesses. During this time of COVID, we have really all come together and really bought locally. We've eaten at restaurants locally. We've shopped locally, everything we possibly can. So there's a draw for companies to come here. They see that. They know it. They want to be here. The process of going through development and approvals and permitting, I have heard also is a difficult process that people have gone through with Buda. We have done some analysis. We had a great company come in and compare our development department and other related departments within the city to similar cities that are like ours. And the job that we're doing has been great. We have a lot of people coming in and wanting to build here, though. And so the amount of staff that we've had is definitely a lot less than companies or businesses would normally see when they come into a city. They'd be twice the size as what the city of Buda has been. So I know council's approved a budget to put some more people into place to help that development process go faster and to streamline it, and also to make it more crisp and clear exactly who you go to for what. I've also started the process of having us look at the SUP, specific use permits that we have. We have a lot of them within the city code to see if there's some of those we can possibly eliminate, either set them in stone or get rid of them. I think the city of Buda really does know what we want and what we don't, And if people come in and they want to put a business on the ground and they know in black and white whether they can or they can't, it makes the process go a lot easier instead of going through one step and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and then being told to do something else and then another $100,000 and then getting to someone and they just say no, or a different group of people. The more black and white we can make it to our benefit and the way we want to see it set in stone, I think will be a much happier process for all of those that are involved. So I think that's something we can certainly do to make us more business friendly on the incoming side.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. We'll start question number 3 with you as well. And this is from someone in the audience. Given that there is a healthy EDC fund balance, what is the most beneficial investment or spend of the funds?
I would like to see them continue working with council and planning and zoning on the evaluation that I mentioned of the highest and best use of the properties. I think it's been a little bit of time since they've done that. The analysis and the studies, those actually do take quite a bit of time and effort and money is involved. But to be able to go through that process and really look at the final pieces of land that we have here left to develop or redevelop, since there aren't many, and really look at what the citizens are wanting, what the market is wanting, and make sure we look at where those pieces of property are and define exactly what it is that we should be putting there that makes sense for the city of Buda, that the market will be attracted to, I think would be a great expenditure of those funds and resources to work with council and with planning and zoning to possibly change some zoning, possibly change some SUPs, whatever the case may be, to give us a final plan of what, and I'll quote the mayor, what we're going to be when we grow up. Because we should be able to see it, the end product, what we want to be with the finite amount of land that we have.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Ms. Jerica, given that there is a healthy EDC fund balance, what is the most beneficial investment or spent of the funds?
First, I would start with the following answer. If I were the CEO of EDC and EDC would be a private company, I would be very happy to hear healthy balance, that we have extra money to spend as opposed to leave me in the red line. So kudos to the people that reach that amount. So that is an impressive when you leave a healthy balance with any organization. Second, is something that is not up to me to answer. What can I do with that money? My imagination could go wild, but I need to keep the interest of the citizens. What can we do best with that money? Who can we invite at the table to discuss what we do with that money? We work very hard, the EDC work very hard, trying to keep that balance in a healthy way. So let's keep it that way. Let's continue being wise. Whatever decision they do with that money, I encourage them just to be a wise decision and invite other people to the table, how we can spend it wisely. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jerica. Ms. Horn-Williams, to you. Given that there is a healthy EDC fund balance, what is the most beneficial investment or spent of the funds?
Well, in my opinion, we've got 2 options for utilizing those funds in probably the most highest and best used way. One would be because we are so limited on land here in Buda. If the EDC wants to help control the types of businesses that come to Buda, we need to purchase some of that land. And then we're able to decide and make decisions along with the city about who can come in and put businesses in that space. The second one would be developing downtown. So right now we have a lot of really great land that sits there where the library currently is located, and then you've got the green belt that's there along the railroad. Would it be nice to see Main Street doubled, where you've got businesses on this side and you're going to have businesses on the other side? We've got a lot of opportunities right now for the EDC to utilize those funds very smartly so that we don't have someone come in and put something here that we really don't want here in Buda. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Horn-Williams.
All right, we're going to start with Ms. Jerica on this question. Ms. Jerica, the City of Buda Unified Development Code is designed to protect Buda's charm and provide a plan for the growth. Do you think the Unified Development Code as written is a good document and it's working as planned, or would you like to see some changes made to that specific working document?
I believe the UDC, the development code is, yes, it requires to look up some streamlining in some areas. We have to come together to look at those areas, how we can make it the growth of the city, the businesses, the type of housing that we want. In the 2011 comprehensive plan said that, for instance, we wanted to have green housing, green development. Have we seen any green development around? I haven't. I don't know you. So why is that? Why sometimes we plan, why we are not talking? Why this document, we have tons of planning, tons of strategic planning. Sometimes I think, to me, the issue is the strategic implementation. There are some areas of the implementations of how we design things. And I think one of these is just we have to look at the UDC, see what areas can we streamline, what are the codes, what are the permits, what is allowed here to do and not to do. And yes, it requires a revision. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Same question. The Buda Unified Development Code is designed to protect Buda's charm and plan for growth. Do you think the UDC is written well and working as planned, or do you think there should be changes made?
Yeah, so at the risk of sounding repetitive, I do think there are changes that need to be made to it. We're a growing city. What we put down on paper, a few years back or 10 years back, or there's quite a few documents that we have that need to grow with us. There are some things that are a little gray, specific use permits being one of them. There's some language around some of the form-based zoning that's not real clear. So we want to make sure that document is really lockstep with what we want and what we're trying to present to people that are coming in and trying to develop or build here. There shouldn't be anything left in a gray area. It should be very clear for our own protection of the city and what we want to put in it. And it needs to be updated. And as we grow, it needs to grow. It needs to be reviewed every so often. But I think the SUPs are something that definitely need to be looked at. We should make a decision on those, as many as we can, which way we want to go with them, in or out. And that will help us if we know what we want, which I think most of us pretty much do. We should just put it down on paper. It'll make us better to those businesses that want to come in and develop business friendly, and get us to where we want to be now versus where we may have been when we put the document together.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. And Ms. Horn-Williams, same question. The UDC is designed to protect Buda's charm and plan for growth. Do you think the UDC as written is a good document and working as planned, or do you think there should be changes made?
Thank you, Jay, for that question. I absolutely do think that it is a good document. It's always good to have your foundational documents for your city, and that's what the UDC is setting for us. However, as we grow as a city, there are going to be things that are going to need to grow with us and changes that are going to need to be made. So some of the changes I would see as a part of the UDC is involving the food trailers. So 10 years ago, we wouldn't have even thought about having food trailers here in Buda. But now it's an opportunity for people to have a business and not have to have the huge overhead expense of having a brick and mortar business in Buda. And it shows that we're accepting of small businesses, because that's what the food trailers are. And then we're accepting of having different types of businesses come into Buda. But we want to make sure that we, again, have rules that are set in place in our UDC that governs how those businesses come in and how they're going to function within our city. So thank you very much for the question.
Hi, my name is Elpida. I'm the owner of Amici, and since we've opened, we joined the Chamber of Commerce, and they've helped us tremendously, especially during these difficult times.
Thank you, Ms. Horn-Williams. Moving on to bonds. I will start with Ms. Jones. In addition to voting for one of you for the at-large position, Buda voters will be voting on 2 propositions. Prop A, 73.57 million to fund transportation projects, and Prop B, 16.09 million to fund Buda parks and recreation projects. What are your thoughts on the bonds as presented, and will you be voting for or against these propositions, and why?
Thank you. Yes. If there was ever a time to get a bond, now would probably be that time. Interest rates are really low, and it's the cheapest money we'll ever see. There's a lot of mobility issues that we have in Buda. We all know there are a lot of streets that need to be repaired. There are additional streets. There are things that need to be widened. That's the majority of the one that is the highest dollar amount, is the mobility bond transportation. That's very important to our city, especially as we're just going to continue to grow. The streets as they are need to be improved just with how many people and businesses are here now. So it's something that we're definitely going to need. The growth that we're going to have coming in will be able to help support those bonds and the payment of them, and they'll provide the infrastructure that we need for the continued growth. The parks are great. You know, outdoor capital of Texas, everybody loves our green space. It's one of the things that we love as we live here, and all of the residents of Buda enjoy, and I think that's something that's very important to continue with. So I am in favor of those bonds. I think it's, on one hand, the mobility and the transportation is something that we definitely need, and then we have a smaller amount that goes to one of our wants, one of which is to purchase some other property on the other side of town, which, as I mentioned, we want to make sure we spread the amenities around and have something for everyone to use and play in, have a play area as well as live and work here.
Sorry. Okay. Ms. Jericho, what are your thoughts on the bonds as presented, and will you be voting for or against these propositions, and why?
Thank you. Am I on? You're on. Okay. Thank you. I will support whatever the citizens decide on. My job will be to make sure that that money is spent as that's been listed in the proposals, that is being spent on a timely manner, that is being also communicated on a timely manner to the residents, see that we are keeping up with our promises. Also, I encourage the citizens to come and attend a lot of the different informative sessions the City Hall is organizing. Tomorrow, for instance, in this very same building, from 6 to 7:30, our Deputy City Manager, our City Engineer, our Director of Parks and Recreations are going to giving a presentation and be available for question and answer if you want to be more informed from more experts regarding the bond. And also, I would encourage you to attend the different pop-up sessions that are going to be taking place around the city about on this subject. So that is my take on the bonds. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jericho. Ms. Horn-Williams, for you as well. What are your thoughts on the bonds as presented, and will you be voting for or against these propositions, and why?
So Proposition A is the transportation bond, and I will be voting for Proposition A. My reason for voting for Proposition A is I've been out block walking around the city, and some of the things that I've noticed that are targeted projects for this bond is going to be helping take care of some of the basic things in our town, right? So we're talking sidewalks being repaired, we're talking streets being repaired, and we just don't currently have the funding in the city budget to be able to pay for those things. So it's going to be important that we get this bond passed to be able to help cover those types of infrastructures that we have. In addition to that, we're going to be looking at the issue that we're having out there on 967 and 1626. So for all the folks that live in West Buda, this is really going to be something that you're going to be interested in hoping we get this passed, because it's going to help with us partnering with TxDOT to help build a right turn lane out there so that you're not all jammed up on that side of town. And then Proposition B, of course, is close to my heart. I love our parks and recs. I love the fact that we have so many beautiful green spaces. I will also be voting for Proposition B because we're looking to finish out Garrison Park. We're looking to take over to the east side of Buda and have some property over there where we can create another beautiful park. And we want to make sure that all of our citizens are reminded that we are a walkable, livable town. It's why we've got all these great sidewalks out here now where you can walk all the way down to HEB if you'd like. You don't have to take a car. You can always take a bike or do something very easy and breezy. So absolutely, I will be voting for both and hoping that you all will consider doing the same. You can check out all the information on the bonds at butabonds.com.
Thank you, Ms. Horn-Williams.
All right, moving on here to a new topic. The Buda Police Department has taken steps to be recognized as a best practice agency by the state of Texas, including rewriting their entire handbook and implementing new policies. Buda PD has also been in the forefront of hiring officers that specialize in domestic violence and mental health calls. What are your plans to support law enforcement, and what do you see as future needs for the well-being of our community? We'll start with Ms. Jones.
Thank you. The police department and Chief Bokid has been doing an amazing job since they built this from the ground up. Chief Kidd did about 10 years ago is when he started off. We have such safety here that's well over above what other cities our size or even just surrounding cities are, and at a much lower cost even than some of the other cities. So they've done a fantastic job of that. And the manual that they just put together is just one more example of how they really care for the level of quality that they're providing to the citizens for our safety. The mental health officers, I think, are great. That's a really important part to making sure that we work with all of our residents with their individual needs. And so continuing to support them is something that I will always do. I'll look to them and Chief Kidd to always do any analyzations of their own department that they may need and make recommendations on any additional people, resources, funding that is needed to continue the wonderful job that they are doing. Full support.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Ms. Horn-Williams, same question. Buda PD has taken steps to be recognized as a best practice agency by the state of Texas. Buda PD has also been in the forefront of hiring officers that specialize in domestic violence and mental health calls. What are your plans to support law enforcement, and what do you see as future needs for the well-being of our community?
Thank you very much for that question. Well, my plan to support law enforcement is already in place. I am joined the Buda Police Foundation, and we are there to help support some of the shortfalls and needs that the police department would potentially experience. Serving on that 501c3 is there to help us reach out to the community and find others who are wanting to help support the needs of the police department, and making sure that we help support them taking training or having them have certifications and things that may be shortfalls that they experience as a part of the city's budget. And after speaking with Chief Kidd, one of the things I would like to do if I'm elected to City Council would be to help support the costs that they're going to be experiencing with the impact of having to do our own dispatching. So currently, Hays County Sheriff's Office is the office that does dispatching for Buda PD, and that's going to change. And so we need to be prepared to help support what that cost is going to be, because it is going to be a pretty hefty cost that the police department is going to have to add to their budget.
Thank you very much. Ms. Jerica, same question. Buda PD has taken steps to be recognized as a best practice agency by the state of Texas and has been in the forefront of hiring officers that specialize in domestic violence and mental health calls. What are your plans to support law enforcement, and what do you see as future needs for the well-being of our community?
I am a daughter of a police officer. Police officers are my friend from my National Night Out participation last night. So to back the blue is part of my DNA. Safety of our citizens is not negotiable. And we need to do more about it because our town is growing. We have been mentioned, it has been said several times tonight. We all know it. We need more people, perhaps more fleet, more vehicles, whatever the equipment. I'm also part of the Buda Police Foundation, Currently, I'm part of the Buda Citizens Police Academy, so I'm learning a lot more about our police, how we can improve, how we can do things better. So yes, and a shout out to Chief Kidd, to Chief Huckabee from the fire department, and for all of those nurses and doctors that keep us safe and sound. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Our next question is from someone in the audience, and we'll start with Ms. Horn-Williams. How might Buda's growth affect property taxes? They are already on the high side, even compared with many areas in Austin.
So I know that right now, for those of us, and like I said, I'm a 20-year resident who have no plans to sell. Yes, that is an absolute concern. For those who are wanting to turn their homes over and move out and take the profit and run, not so much. So the biggest piece about us maintaining our property values is also making sure that we are staying tuned in with the city's budget and when they get ready to pass our tax rates. And when we look at how they're going to be passing rates for our water and our wastewater and seeing how those dollars are going to impact our taxes increasing. Short of us working really hard at not having any additional huge developments come into the area, and that we work on balancing out that trio of having good industrial businesses and then having other types of businesses to help us balance out our tax base, that's really going to have to be a focus that we're going to have to work on as a city together with the EDC.
Thank you, Ms. Horn-Williams. Now, Ms. Jones, the same question to you. How might Buda's growth affect property taxes? They're already on the high side, even compared with many areas in Austin.
Thank you. Yeah, property values. We are growing. We are closest to the city of Austin, which is, like I've said, one of the best places to live, voted over and over again. And I'd argue that Buda is a better place to live. And people are realizing that, and Austin is outgrowing its borders, and we're feeling some of the overflow from it. And because of that, we have a high quality of life here. The neighborhoods are great. We do have the great parks, and the home values are continuing to rise. Because of that, I think it's so important that to really appreciate what the city has done with their budgets and with the interest rates that the city has, or the tax rates. They've really kept them so low. We have one of the lowest tax rates in Texas, other than I think like Dripping Springs, but they don't even have their own police department. So that's a really great benefit to what the city's been able to do. And as Lavani had said, keeping an eye on that and making sure the city is continuing to do their part on keeping the tax rate low to help offset some of the increased values that our homes are going to continue to probably see.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. And Ms. Jerica, same to you. How might Buda's growth affect property taxes? They're already on the high side and even compared with many areas in Austin.
I start with the answer that, as they say, the only constant in life is change. So yes, this is a growth. It has been, I think the question has been answered very well, but I believe that we still have a pretty good low rate in taxes. Let's try to keep it that way, and that's what will be my job as elected official, to keep our taxes as low as possible. Even lower, we will not try. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, the only constant in life is change.
Thank you, Ms. Jerica. Ms. Jerica, we'll stay with you first. More businesses moving to Buda means more staffing needs at all levels. If a company can't staff, they cannot operate. What are your thoughts on affordable, likely subsidized housing to help Buda continue to grow and thrive?
To be honest, this is always a touchy subject about the affordable housing. I'm not opposed, I'm not against, I'm not in favor either. We have to see. It's something that is not on my rather my purview to decide whether it is the right for our town. Well, I go back to the only constant in life is change. If it's necessary, we'll see. We'll see if we have the right land for it. We'll see if we have the right tools for it. It's something that is, it requires a more in-depth discussion about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jerica. Ms. Horn-Williams, same question. With more businesses moving to Buda, that means there are more staffing needs at all levels. If a company can't staff, they can't operate. So what are your thoughts on affordable, likely subsidized housing to help Buda continue to grow and thrive?
So you're very right that the more businesses we get, they of course need staff to be able to staff those businesses. I think part of that, though, is going to be the city and the EDC working with those businesses through workforce development to help them find staffing and to be able to maintain that staffing. There's funding that's available that come down from the Texas Workforce Commission that is spread about for Hays County, Travis County, and all the areas that are handled by Workforce Solutions here in Austin that is there to help upskill and help people learn better skills to be able to provide them opportunities to work in different areas. More so than affordable housing, I think we need to look at the minimum wage that we're paying people, because you've got to pay them enough wage to be able to pay for rent and to pay for food and to pay for all of those expenses. So I think it's kind of a twofold question. If you really want to have affordable housing, you still have to have wages that support those types of things. And so I think the two would have to go hand in hand in order for us to move forward with looking at affordable housing. Are we paying a living wage that allows people to be able to live here in Buda and work here locally as well?
Thank you for that. Ms. Jones, same question. With more businesses moving to Buda, more staffing will be needed at all levels. What are your thoughts on affordable subsidized housing to help Buda continue to grow and thrive?
Working within Austin, city limits, I've worked on several development projects where the city has programs that I think could be helpful to that if that's something that we need. I think working with the EDC and other local boards to figure out how much affordable housing we may need, if we need it, where we need it, when we're going to need it, and then possibly put into place some development incentives for developers to include or add more affordable housing units within their projects can be a very beneficial way to make that inclusive and to increase those numbers of affordable housing units that we can provide to people to make sure we have a broad range. If we discover through analytics that we really need to include truly low-income housing, that's another thing that we can look at. I've worked on quite a few TDHCA projects that have different levels of low-income affordable housing as well, which can really help when you've got some funding and some support from state or other authorities. And also provide a lot of those projects have small business or minority-owned business requirements for those as well. So there's some benefits that come along with those projects also, if that's something that we need to take a look at.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Next question, I'll start with Ms. Horn-Williams. What is your plan to encourage more participation from all parts of Buda on boards and commissions and city council?
The big piece for that is communication. So many years ago when I started participating, it was because I'd gone to a city council meeting because I was upset about my water bill. That's how I found out about participating on boards and commissions. And that has been since 2016. So part of that is communicating out to all of the residents here in Buda and talking to them about the importance of their active participation, because, you know, if you're not a part of helping us find the solution, we really need to get everybody in to get all that quality of thought then, you know, you kind of put yourself in a situation of, well, don't complain, because we really, really need people, and we want to make sure that we give everybody an opportunity to share their opinions and their concerns and to be able to have a full life here in Buda. And part of that is participating on some of the city boards and commissions.
Thank you, Ms. Horn-Williams. Ms. Jerica, the same question. What is your plan to encourage more participation from all parts of Buda on boards and commissions and city council?
That's a great question because it's part of also my platform to keep people connected and engaging and to come to the city councils. Since I been more involved, part of the Planning and Zoning Commission, joining the Lions Club, being a school crossing guard, I feel more immersed in my community. And I've been coming to the city council meeting religiously since early, when you were able to come in person and watching past city council meetings. So it is a great, they're long meetings, I can't tell you that, but it's a great learning process. It's fascinating to see when something comes to your table and how the decisions go about, and then the implementation. I think as one of the things that sometimes we slow down, I believe, is implementation process. In the 2011 master plan, there was already mentioned trying to create some activities, programs to develop, to engage more of the citizens. I would like to hear what is happening, why we are not doing that at the moment. I know I was told once that being a city council is like being a coffee filter. There's a lot of things that you put in: roads and transportation and safety and housing. And then at the end, when you have certain money left, then you invest in certain programs or the library. But we need to engage more community. I don't think I don't know what happened to us. We have one of our city council members run unopposed. We're 3 intelligent women here that are decided to run for city council. This is great. I think we are an inspiration, I believe, to the rest of the citizens to just take action. We either complain or we take action. I decide to take action. So I will try to engage the citizens, keep them informed. Communication is key because that is what creates trust. Trust begets trust.
Thank you, Ms. Jerica. Ms. Jones, what is your plan to encourage more participation from all parts of Buda on boards and commissions and city council?
Consistently, communication. And I think it really needs to be a lot more proactive communication out to citizens and through multimedia outlets. And that's kind of using that word in a strange context to what I mean when I say media, but not everybody has the internet. Not everybody's sitting on top of Facebook or Twitter or Instagram all day long. We do have a lot of outdoor space, and people are busy here, and we've got kids, and we've got businesses that we're running, and we're going to and from the grocery store, and we need to get out and into those places where the people are and come to them. And I think getting people involved in a program or in a place where they can provide a task and a service to the city and see some immediate gratification, I think would be really great. We have a lot of boards and commissions, and it's a process because they're very important tasks that we deal with. But I think when somebody can get involved, make a suggestion, make something happen, have an event, and they see the results of the input and the work that they put into their own city immediately, and to get a response really begets them wanting to do more. And so I think that's a really crucial element to it. So provide something that's at a smaller level, go to where the people are, provide proactive information in lots of different formats. And I think keeping people up to date on what's going on, kind of in a reporting format as well, whether it be paper, sending stuff through the snail mail, is another way that we need to get information out to people and get them more involved.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
All right, we've had some great questions tonight, especially ones from the audience, so thank you for your submissions. We've reached the point in the evening now where we're going to ask you to give your closing remarks. You'll each have 2 minutes. Sir? One more question. Okay. We've reached the point of the night where we have one more question before closing statements. Always nice to have a little suspense there. All right. So we'll go, Ms. Jones, we'll start with you. The city and EDC work closely together by design. However, many times these decisions are made without the Chamber of Commerce's input on the business or the business community. If elected, what would you do to be more inclusive of the chamber and business community?
We need to not work in silos so much. All of the boards and the commissions in the city and the Chamber of Commerce and the EDC, individually, we all do such a great job. Very appreciative of all the information when we do come together in a joint meeting to have all of our input and all of our brains in one room. There's people here just really wanting to help our city. But I think more of that needs to happen, and whether it's getting us together in one room or providing reports from one of our meetings to the next one and making sure it's thoroughly reviewed so we know what's going on with each of the other departments, as you will, within our city is really crucial. And forcing that, requiring it, I think we can do some amazing things if all of us are always lockstep with one another in the goals that we have as a group, as a team. We all want to do this. We all want to help, all the boards, the commissions, the city, the EDC, and the chamber. But we need to come together more, literally be together in the same room, or having more joint meetings and giving each other information on what's going on between the groups is really crucial to getting somewhere faster, the goals that we all have.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Ms. Jerica, same question. The city and EDC work closely together by design. If elected, what would you do to be more inclusive of the Chamber of Commerce and business community?
I'm very keen on quotes. One of that I can think of right now is that two brains think better than one. So we need more people to the table. We cannot function with just one EDC or the Chamber of Commerce or the City Council or of the other commissions that we have, of the other bodies working here. Why we are not communicating? Let's see why. Why don't we try to leave, number one, our egos by the door? Usually communication is a conflict of egos because my agenda is more important than yours. We have to forget that my agenda is more important than yours. Here we are to work for the city, to grow a city, to make collaboration. We are a community. Community means, yes, we have differences, but we also, those differences make us stronger. Viva la différence, say in French. So let's try to overcome whatever differences, and let's try to make us stronger instead of weaker. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer. And Ms. Horn-Williams, lastly to you, the same question. The city and EDC work closely together by design. If elected, what would you do to be more inclusive of the chamber and business community?
Well, I think as far as the business community is concerned, the EDC spends probably 80% of their time focused on just that, right? Working with the business community. But if I were elected to city council, one of the things I'd want to see happen is us put together a joint task force that worked on what our shared goals are. And so we take the shared goals of what the chamber has and what they're offering for their businesses that are part of the chamber, as well as the businesses that the EDC has that they provide services to. We do the business retention visits. We go out, we try to figure out what the needs are of the business and to be able to address those. And I think partnering with the chamber to be able to provide those types of services is going to make us better. And if the city drives that force, then I think we'll do a great job together, all three of us working to try to better all the businesses we have here in Buda.
Thank you, Ms. Horn-Williams. We've now reached that point of the evening for closing statements.
You already said that, so take it back.
We're there for real this time. So remember, as stated before we started, you'll each have 2 minutes here for your closing remarks. Ms. Jerica, we will start with you.
First of all, thank you so much for organizing this forum, and thank you all of you for coming here, and for those of you watching at home, I appreciate your time. My mother, a wise, hardworking woman with a third-grade education, she told me once never to underestimate the power of a prayer. So I want to tell you something similar tonight. Never underestimate the power of your vote. Go out and vote on November 2nd. Let us know what you want to see in our city. Tell us. Come participate in the city council meetings. Choose what subjects are really important to you. We are here to serve you, not the other way around. We're here to work for you. And first and foremost, I'm also a resident. If I get elected, I'm first and foremost a resident. So whatever decisions we make in the chamber is also going to affect me as much as it's going to affect you. So I better make good decisions because I want to sleep well tonight. So I better go and make good decisions. Also, I'm very excited to see the range of backgrounds that we bring at this table. As far as I know, Lavonia, Emily, and I are already winners to put our talent and energy at the service of our community. So thank you very much. Muchas gracias y buenas noches.
Thank you, Ms. Jerica. Ms. Horn-Williams, you have 2 minutes for your closing remarks.
Okay, well, thank you guys all for coming out tonight. A lot of you, I've seen your faces before. We went down this road last year, and we had 2,400 of you that came out and supported me, and I want to say thank you. My goal for running for city council is just to make sure that we keep this town, the town that my kids grew up in, the town that my grandchildren are going to grow up in, and the town that I'm very proud to say that I've lived in. I want to thank you for participating tonight. I want to thank the chamber, being inclusive, for putting this on for us again this year. And it's really important. It's important for you to hear what people have to say. You don't want to go to the polls and just vote blindly. That is really not who we are anymore, right? We're voting on the issues, and that's what's going to be important. And the issues are making sure that we keep Buda, Buda. We want to make sure we keep our taxes low. We have a great place to go hang out on weekends at the city park or any of the other subdivisions that have great parks. And we're able to go and we can eat local. We've got some great places here that we can eat at. And we want to make sure that we're all working towards the same goal of keeping that as home felt as it possibly can be. And so I appreciate you coming out tonight, and I ask for your vote, and I thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Ms. Jones, 2 minutes.
I'd once read or heard it said that women get into elected official positions because they saw a need. They kept seeing a need, and they just couldn't help it. They had to get in and help. And I know that's what all of these great ladies up here are doing. We all want to give back to the city that we love. That's why we're here. One of the biggest issues facing us right now is our growth, and I'm feeling the growing pains with you guys. I'm sitting there and hoping Mark Jones keeps the light on green long enough for me to get through it and get my kid to school on time, along with the rest of you, you know. Good luck. Yeah, I know. You can hope, you can pray. And where I saw a need was, you know, I can help here. My experience, what I've been doing all my life instead of just punching a clock is I can give back now the experience that I've learned to the city where we need it, which is in our growth and in our development, and really keeping an eye out for us and watching our best interest as we go through this together. I know what developers want. I know what they want to do. I know the tricks they can try, and they have good intentions as well. You know, most of them revolve around making some money, but I know those things, and I can help, and so I just can't help it anymore. I've got to get in and do everything I possibly can, and that's why I'm here, and I've got a lot to give, and I hope we all go out and vote, because it's amazing that we have a right and a freedom to be able to do that, and we should never take that for granted. So whatever you vote on or against or for, at least go out and vote. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our 2021 Buda City Council Candidate Forum. But before we go, I just want to say, I believe that thank you all for being here tonight. You went through all of our questions and then some, and we appreciate that. I think Buda is in great hands based on the talent that we've seen here tonight. Thank you all for your willingness to enter into public service. And I think that your answers tonight show that we're in good hands, and I think that deserves a round of applause from these folks. I want to thank Jay Heinrich and Christy Phillips for being the moderators tonight. I want to thank our team over there that's doing all at Treehouse Productions. That's doing all of our putting us online tonight. This does conclude our forum. Don't forget, early voting begins October 18th through the 29th. Election Day is November 2nd. And please don't forget to vote on the Buda Propositions A and B. Thank you and good night.
Good job, ladies.
Hi, I'm Scott Robinson, General Manager of Truck City Ford here in beautiful Buda. For over 20 years, we have been the only full-line Ford truck dealer in the area. Whether you're looking for a Mustang Mach-E or an F-750 or even the all-new Ford Bronco, we're here to help. New or used vehicles, commercial vehicles, parts, or service, will provide award-winning service driven by small-town values and none of the big city games. Please drop by and see us, South I-35 in Buda, right across from Cabela's.